Music, art, and culture. They are the pioneers, trendsetters, and groundbreakers, leaving their mark for future generations. Black history in the Carolinas, a legacy of leadership, continues right now.
Good evening and welcome back. I'm Erica Bryant.
And I'm Damani Lewis. For nearly 50 years, he documented Charlotte's Black history.
From weddings to protests and everyday life, James Peeler captured it all with his lens. Channel 9's Amelia White talked with his daughter about preserving his collection of history.
James Peeler was not only my father, but he was also known by the city of Charlotte as one of the most distinguished photographers in the Black community.
For nearly 5 decades, James G. Peeler documented Charlotte's Black life through a Black lens.
He captured us as members of fraternities, sororities, churches, community groups, weddings, and funerals.
As a little girl, were you curious about your father's work?
I was oblivious. But he did share enough for me to understand really what he was doing was important to the people.
Peeler's photography collection started in University Park, a neighborhood formed in the late 1950s, occupied by the growing Black middle class. His images captured segregated schools and neighborhoods, protests in the Carolinas, local and national civil rights leaders, and the everyday life of West End residents.
He was in and of the thing he documented. Whatever happened in that community, he got a picture of it.
Including visits to the city by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
And you'll see a lot of familiar faces in that collection. Shirley Chisholm, Jesse Jackson, Julius Erving, Thurgood Marshall.
While Peeler's work captured one generation moving forward in time, his approach to photography inspired those around him.
He gave several of the neighborhood teenagers jobs.
Like Suzanne Carruthers, who lived a few doors down from the Peelers.
The first thing I learned how to do was to dry photographs. I learned how to oil paint.
And Joe worked well with him in the darkroom as well.
Most of the work that I did was right there in the studio. It was developing prints. I ended up working for Eastman Kodak Company. I mean, the largest photographic company in the world. Once I realized later on, you know, the impact of what he was doing, it became even more valuable as I look back on it.
Peeler's still images were often a way of recording history.
So back in the 60s, during the civil rights era, the students at Johnson C. Smith would call him when they were going to do a protest. They knew that the police would not touch them, they wouldn't beat them, they wouldn't abuse them when my father was recording the moments of the protest.
Peeler's collection is now housed at the James B. Duke Memorial Library at Johnson C. Smith University, the very place where he received his education.
Well, I am the director of the library here at Johnson C. Smith, but when the Peeler collection came, I was the archivist. They brought 37 Rubbermaid tubs full of these unprocessed photos and these old sleeves right here.
Brandon Lunsford says they sorted through more than 200,000 photos.
How difficult was it trying to make out when was this, who is this?
I mean, it's extremely difficult. Sometimes you look at the cars that are in the picture, the clothes people are wearing, so you can at least narrow it down sometimes. You can kind of let people see a part of their lives they thought was kind of lost forever that Mr. Peeler captured.
Peeler captured a different side of Black life, one that wasn't showcased often.
What did you see in your father's photos?
Ah, that's interesting. I did see people in their best. He did his best to capture us as beautiful as we could be.
An ordinary neighbor, an ordinary photographer in an ordinary neighborhood is the power of his extraordinary gift that he has left as his legacy.
In Charlotte, Amelia White, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Just amazing work, and you can view the collection online, and we have a link to it on our website, WSOC-TV.com. Just click on Black History Month. Well, one of the many towering figures during that time, Charlotte's own Charlie Sifford. He broke the color barrier in golf as the first black PGA Tour member in 1961, helping the PGA to end its Caucasian-only member clause. Now, Sifford also became the first black golfer inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame in 2004. And in 2011, Revolution Park Golf Course in West Charlotte was renamed in his honor to the Dr. Charles L. Sifford Golf Course at Revolution Park.
Hers is a name and voice longtime Charlotteans know well. Chatty Hattie, the first black woman DJ in the Queen City. The pioneer says that her story is still unfolding.
C-H-A-T-T-Y and then H-A-T-T-Y, Chatty Hattie. I like it spelled with dittos, you know.
Spend even a little time with Chatty Hattie Leaper and you understand the nickname. This trailblazer has plenty to chat about. In 1951, at age 17, she got her own radio show at Charlotte's WGIV, becoming the city's first black female radio DJ and one of the first in the nation.
We rhymed a lot of the things that we would say on our programs. Like I would just open up the mic and say, well, hi world, this is your girl Chatty Hattie. And listen, you're at the top of the dial at 1600 on the radio that makes listening all worth your while. I mean, we rhyme. People think rap now is so extraordinary. They better not give me a chance to get on show rapping. I already know how to do that stuff with my eyes closed.
For years, she was Charlotte's best-known radio personality, and that brought its perks, lots of perks.
Harry Belafonte, Sammy Davis Jr., Nat King Cole, the list just goes on and on and on of people that I have had handshaking contact with when they would get their stars put on the Hollywood Hall of Fame on the sidewalk. Oh yeah, I would MC James Brown, the godfather of soul. He was my main man.
But she never forgot where she came from, Charlotte, and it was a very different Charlotte back then.
You know, you'd go to a restaurant, you couldn't go in the front door if you were, you know, black, brown, polka dot. You'd go to the back of that restaurant, to the back door where all of the trash cans and the porta-johns and stuff in the back, you'd go back there and had a little window and you would order what you wanted off of the menu and they would fix it so nice and bring it to the window and you'd pay and you'd go.
Today, her home is filled with accolades, Black Women in Radio, Lifetime Achievement, the Charlotte Broadcast Hall of Fame, plus a book, Chatty Hattie, the Legend. She celebrates every single memory, and she plans to keep celebrating for a very long time.
I'm so glad I had enough sense to stay where I love, and that's right here at home. This is home. Charlotte, I love it.
Hattie's career goes well beyond radio. She's opened 2 record stores, written songs, managed groups, and even started her own record label.
And she's also written plays and taught courses at Gaston College, UNC Charlotte, and CPCC. The one thing she hasn't done that she'd still like to do is open a movie studio.
Charlotte Mayor Vi Lyles is still writing her story. She was elected the city's first black woman mayor in 2017.
Mayor Lyles is now serving her 4th term, and she told us she hopes to leave a legacy that will inspire young girls to be better than her.
When I first came into office, I would have moms bring their daughters up, and I'd always tell them, I'm mayor, but you can be president. I believe that what you do is to leave a legacy for someone else to come along and make it even better, grander, all of those things. Have more confidence, understand, and it's not just the little girls, but it's actually, I like to think of the black and brown girls especially, ones that, you know, may not even see what they have inside of them yet, but will grow that confidence.
Her historic win came more than 3 decades after Charlotte elected Harvey Gantt as the city's first black mayor.
For the first time, a black man has been named the maestro of Charlotte Symphony Orchestra.
The CSO says it was a unanimous decision, and Channel 9's Dinesh Broom spoke with Kwame Ryan about the history-making role.
Kwame Ryan conducts with vigor and conviction.
I just find it so magical and transporting and almost intoxicating, the sort of audio magic that comes out of a symphony orchestra.
And he's bringing that magic to the Queen City. Ryan will be Charlotte Symphony Orchestra's next music director. The search committee chose him unanimously around the same time he fell in love with Charlotte.
It's just a really buzzy, diverse town, and I was really happy to be there.
Ryan has conducted orchestras around the world, including in Germany, France, the UK, Houston, St. Louis, and the New York Philharmonic. He joins a list of illustrious music directors to lead the Charlotte Symphony. But there's one glaring distinction. He's the first black man in charge.
I was just never allowed to doubt that I could achieve my goals for whatever reason, and certainly not because of my race or my skin color.
Ryan grew up in Trinidad and Tobago, where his parents were instrumental in cultivating a love of education and performing arts. He acknowledges the lack of diversity in his field can be discouraging. According to a study by the League of American Orchestras, only 2% of all orchestra music directors are black. But he believes if there's one thing that can create cultural harmony, it's music.
There's something really unifying about bringing that training and that passion and that focus to bear in the service of something that's as beautiful and powerful as music.
He'll fill an interim role beginning in April and will officially be the music director in September. And if you think your commute is bad, Ryan will split his time between his home in Germany and Charlotte. He hopes aspiring musicians take a note from his rise and continue to break barriers.
I do think that the most important things are passion, focus, and believing in yourself.
In Charlotte, Dinesh Broom, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
I wake up, random days and I'm like, dang, like I'm really the first. And it happened in 2017, so it's like, it really took that long, and who would have thought it would have been me?
She's NASCAR's first black woman pit crew member, training right here in North Carolina. We sit down with Brianna Daniels, the challenges she's overcome, the doors she's opening for others, and what's next for her bright future.
She's the first black woman pilot in U.S. Navy history.
I didn't know that I could be a pilot until I was in college in flight training. Yeah, because it was never encouraged.
And she hasn't stopped soaring to new heights. How she's using her skills to help future aviators.